Hi guys, I'm very thrilled to be back. Sorry for not posting a video last week, I wasn't feeling very well. But now I'm back and I really want to film this review. We are going to talk about a sequel in a trilogy. So that means that maybe you want to come back when you have read the first one at least. So I may be a little bit spoilery within the story because I have to refer to the first installment, but I hope that you want to stay when you have read the sequel, or at least the first one, because we are going to talk of one of my favorite YA authors, Marie Rutkoski. Now, Marie Rutkoski published a while ago a trilogy called The Winner's Curse. The Winner's Curse is a trilogy based on a kind of fight between Valoria and Iran, which is like a metaphor of the Empire of Rome and Greece that was later conquered by the Romans. So after conquering, in this story, a lot of people from this Iran peninsula were actually they become slaves because of the kind of ruling system. So this trilogy is about a very important young lady and a slave, but it might sound kind of rom-com type, but this is far more than a love story. And I want to talk about the sequel in this case. We are going to talk about The Winner's Crime. I'm going to try to do a summary of what's going on very briefly because I normally struggle as I read it in Spanish and I don't know the terms properly. So our main character, Kestrel, at the end of the first book decides to run away and leave everything behind because what is going on, what is happening at the end of the first book is not what she considers either her people or Irene's people deserve. So she decides to protect her own people, even though if that means that she will leave her love, the love of her life, behind. Having said that, when she arrives, she becomes a hero because she has run away from the rebels. She has sailed a sea in a very big storm, and she has reached land safely. And she is in her new position of hero. She is taken to meet the emperor, and she makes a deal with him. She is able to guarantee Arian's people, the people of the person she left behind, freedom instead of her own freedom. So she will become the new member of the court as the emperor's son's fiancé. So now she will have to learn how to live in a place that she doesn't know, even though she belongs to the nation. Also in a dangerous part of the city, which is basically the palace and the court. And of course, all the people that live in that castle know how to navigate and how to live in a court full of deceit and lies. But she doesn't. At the first book, we learn that she is not a very good liar, so she will have to deal with the idea of surviving in this new environment. Of course, there's a new arrival at the court, and Arryn is back in her life, which puts her in a very dangerous position because now she will have to decide either if she will help her father and her nation, or she will do what she believes is best, even though that means that she will become a traitor. Now, the idea of this sequel was very scary and very intriguing because I love the first volume of this trilogy. I love the ending, and I am not very sure about trilogies anymore. But I discovered that apart from being one of my favorite books, this trilogy was way up, way better than the first installment in the trilogy. And why I said this, because in this story, even though there's not so much romance as in the previous one, you are able to explore different areas of this world, this invented world, and you are able to understand that this book is not about love. This book is about politics and how politics work. So you have a lot of intrigues, and in the middle of it you have our main characters, Kestrel and Ari, that at this point in the story they are way far than they used to be before, because now they're standing in different sides of a upcoming conflict. So you will have to discover how they feel, thanks to incredibly warming, heartbreaking and lovely monologues in which you analyze how Kestrel and Ari are feeling about the situation that they are living, and also about what could have been and what is supposed to be they are supposed to be for their people. So this book is more complicated. The plot is very twisted. You are not safe. You don't know what is going to happen next. But also the characters are even more like grounded and complex than they were before, because you see what they long for, what they want to fight for, and both things are not exactly the same. So you see the struggle and you only want to jump into the book and help them out. And I love all of this because the plot and the development of the characters, not only the main characters but also the secondary characters, are so smooth. The both sides of the story are so intertwined and so smooth that at the end, when you finish it, you are so touched by the complexity of all. And that ending, guys, that ending is you need to go to pick the third, because it's all that your heart is screaming for when you end it. The idea of having that two elements of a story, the plot and the characters, so well developed and so well paced, helps you to basically, you cannot put the book down. And I love that because not only you know more about the characters, you know how their mind works, even though you may not be on the same page on certain topics with them. But I love how the romantic subplot is as important or as intriguing as the political plot, which is more important in the sequel. And I love how, while you are longing for them to say what they feel, you are also very scared about that confession, because you know what will bring if they do that, if they do what you want them to do, and you know they want to do as well. And I would love to explore a little bit more about the plot, because the intrigues and the deceit are very central in this story. And I love how the characters, all the characters, not only the main ones, are trying to send messages to the other end, to the rival or to the friends, because they need something from the other person, but they cannot say it openly. So there are a lot of signs, in particular for in between the main characters, and they are not always read as in the right way. So that brings us more angst and more conflict to the story. That is almost about, it's like a bomb. So the idea of having signals from one person to the other and not being able to decodificate those signals, it's what takes us to the climax of the story, that is right at the end. And I love that because you spend weeks and weeks, or days as it was in my case, longing for being able to discover what is going to happen next, what is going to be the ending of a sequel, but in the same time you are scared. You feel the tension, you feel the danger, and that's really difficult to do. That's extremely difficult, because it's not as if you are watching a movie, but I feel like tension and danger are way more difficult to exploring within the written form, but I feel it as if it's more effective, to the point where you want to jump into the book and say, I want to save you all. And I would love to say that this author not only does that well, she's able to make you feel like that thanks to a very clean and specific style that doesn't allow you to rest, but is informative and rich. It makes all the elements right, so you want to read. Well, this is the end of my review. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that if you read the sequel as I did, you can tell me what element did you like the most about the story, and which was your your scariest thought about it, without leaving too much spoilers of what actually happened, because I had a few during the reading experience. And if you did read the first one, I would like to know, how would you imagine the characters? Which actor who would play a perfect Kestrel or a perfect Arryn? I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that if at least this review helps you to continue on with the trilogy, you do that, because the author is perfect. I leave all the details down below, and all my details, all the Amazon list that I have, and also my social media accounts and everything. And I will leave as well, either on the info button that it's supposed to be around here, or the box down below. I will leave the review of the first part of the trilogy, The Winner's Curse. Bye!